Today is a huge day in American history. In just a few hours, closing arguments will begin in President Trump's New York hush money trial. The 45th president facing some 34 felony charges, carrying a maximum 20-year prison sentence, though the jurors can choose to convict him on lesser misdemeanors instead. So now let's take a look at more trial basics here. How many potential jurors? Well, 18 potential jurors were chosen, 12 to decide Mr. Trump's fate, of course, plus 6 alternates. How many witnesses did they hear from? 22. And how long were we here? How many days of testimony? Some 17. Well, NewsNation's Caitlin Beckert is outside the courthouse with us this morning. And Caitlin, you've been covering this from the very beginning. What do you expect from closing arguments?
And I can't even believe we're here today and we've gotten to this point and this quickly. The trial pretty much stayed on track. It's just 7 weeks in and we're here for summations, and they're called summations for a reason. So what we expect is that both the prosecution and the defense is going to sum up what we've seen over the last several weeks. Prosecutors are really going to try to hit home on all of those points that they made through their 20 witnesses and 236 pieces of evidence. They were clear in their opening statements that they were convinced that the jury would find no reasonable doubt when it came to the question of whether or not former President Donald Trump falsified business records in order to cover up a hush money payment that was made to former porn star Stormy Daniels about an alleged affair with him. And he did so, according to prosecutors, in order to influence the election. Now, they tried to prove that throughout these several weeks through testimony, especially from their key witness, Michael Cohen. But, the defense is going to stand up and say the exact opposite. What I expect them to do is get up and particularly hammer home on that star witness, Anna, Michael Cohen, and say you cannot trust this man. He is a known liar. He is a known felon. And they got him through his testimony on cross-examination to admit that he stole tens of thousands of dollars from the Trump Organization when he worked for Donald Trump. That's something that we hadn't heard yet. Now, is it germane to the case? No. But does it make you perhaps not trust Michael Cohen as a witness? Maybe, yeah. And that could perhaps influence the jury, Anna.
Yeah, you wonder if that admission of stolen money was on the bingo card of the prosecution, because, wow. Well, we know the president could face jail time, Caitlin, but is that very likely? What's at stake for Mr. Trump here?
Yeah, I heard you right, at the top of the segment talking about whether or not there could be jail time on the table. There certainly is. It is a possibility. We have 34 counts, but you have to remember these are not sort of check one box guilty, one box not guilty. Each of these counts need to be done individually. So there could be a mix of guilty, not guilty, and perhaps hung charges where the jury can't get to any sort of reasonable ending there. They can't decide one way or the other. So could there be jail time on the table? Yes. I don't expect, if there is jail time, it to be the maximum, nor do I expect it to be served consecutively. If there was some sort of sentencing of jail time, it would probably be concurrent and a lesser sentence. But you also have to remember that the gag order is still in place. So there's also the threat of jail time if Donald Trump violates that gag order again when jury is in deliberations. And it's even probably more crucial for him to keep his mouth shut when it comes to that, because when the jury is deliberating, he can't talk about them. And that's something we're definitely going to be looking out for.
All right. Well, Caitlin, I'm going to keep you.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.